Hello viewers, it is March 19th, 2010, the Solemnity of St. Joseph, Husband of the Blessed Virgin. For those of you who are Catholic, and you observe Lent, today's a free pass. You can actually eat meat today, on a Friday, because it is the Solemnity of St. Joseph, the Husband of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It also means it's time for this week's What the Friday. Alright, this week we had a lot of contenders for the What the Friday news story. I heard on the radio the off-track betting in Albany advertising itself as a family-friendly place to watch the NCAA basketball tournament. I also heard on the radio an ad for used Porsches. So if that doesn't scream we're in a recession, I don't know what does. We also had a leprechaun rob a bank in Tennessee, and scientists have discovered a jellyfish that doesn't die of old age. But none of this is the most messed up thing I heard this week. The most messed up thing I saw was that Texas is messing with education. So the State Board of Education in Texas recently voted to implement certain changes to the curriculum. Now, since Texas is one of the biggest purchasers of textbooks in this country, this has actually a lot of national implications, because what Texas requires to be in or out of textbooks could affect the rest of the country. So here's a few examples of things that they've voted to change in the curriculum. First, they voted to remove any mention of separation of church and state from the discussion of the Constitution, because one guy specifically put out a challenge that he would give $1,000 to the charity of your choice if you could show where in the Constitution it, laid out separation of church and state. And I mean, it's not word for word in the Constitution, which is, of course, the standard he's going to hold you to, but it is there, because Congress shall pass no law impinging on the freedom of religion. That's in the First Amendment. So, if Congress has passed a law that a student has to be in school, and a school, in its curriculum, supports any one or any group of religions, then that student's freedom of religion has been impinged, and the Congress has passed a law to make it so. Quod erat demonstratum. Separation of church and state is there. It's a little gray, but it's there. More to the point than that, which really frustrates me, is it's in the Bible. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Let the government do its thing, the church does its thing. So even if you're not convinced that separation of church and state was something that was intended by the founding fathers of this country, it was something that was intended by the early church fathers. Another change they're trying to make to the curriculum is to remove from sociology courses any discussion of the distinction between sex and gender. And the reasoning is that the conservative members of the Board of Education don't want Texas kids learning about, quote, transvestites, transsexuals, and who knows what else. And this is just horrible. Regardless of what you think about men dressing up like women, or women wearing pants, or whatever else your problem is with this, kids need to know that this stuff happens. Yes, there are men who like to walk around in skirts and wear stockings, and that's okay. You need to learn how to accept all kinds of people, and it's one thing for a parent to teach their kid intolerance in their home. That's their prerogative as a parent. But you can't be teaching that kind of intolerance in a school by not letting these kids know that these kinds of people are out there, and that it is acceptable for a man to wear a dress if he wants. In the interest of keeping this video under an hour, I'm just going to talk about one other point real quick. They're making some changes to how they want McCarthyism to get presented in the history textbooks. And the gist of the changes they're going for is to say that Senator Joseph McCarthy was actually justified in doing what he did because he actually did uncover some communist subversives working inside the U.S. government. And that's kind of like saying the Salem witch trials were a good idea because they actually did find one witch. Statistically, if you go after that many people, you're going to find one or two who actually fall into the group of ideas that you're hunting for. So that's just my take on the whole thing. I'm going to put a link to the New York Times article over... Oh, wait, it's down there now. Sneaky YouTube. And that's all I have to say for today. So, as always, this is the Sugar Man reminding you to drive slow and hurry back.